Believe it or not, there's actually a secret to making bass house just like this.
Whoa, let me back up.
Now, I'm sure most of you know that the top producers have their sound design and sound selection down, but what if I told you the secret to making better bass house really comes down to just one note? Now, I know what you're thinking, that sounds ridiculous, but let's take a listen to these tracks. The one thing these songs have in common isn't their sound design or their arrangement, but it all comes down to a lowered second note in the scale that they're using. Now, most bass house tracks use a minor scale, which has a lowered 3rd, 6th, and 7th notes, but when we add in that lowered second note, we're using what's known as the Phrygian mode. Now, in music, when we go up or down a half step, this creates dissonance or a lack of harmony, and that lack of harmony is actually the musical version of a cliffhanger because it's just begging you to go back to that root note. Okay, so now that you know this, let's go ahead and show you how you can use this to make better bass house. Alright, so let's get the basics out of the way first. We're going to use a tempo of 128 BPM, and we're going to use a 4-on-the-floor drum pattern with small fills every bar, that way our drums don't get boring. Now, I usually like to build my tracks around some vocals, so I've got this one here from Splice.
I'll be coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it.
And now I'm going to use that lowered second note from that Phrygian mode here in these synth stabs. As you can see, we're going from D sharp to E natural, so that is 1 half step. I've also got a hard-hitting bass here that's playing in between these vocal phrases to fill up some space.
I'll be coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it.
And one of the things I love to do to make bass lines like these stand out is to layer them with a tom, as you can see here, so there's a little bit more punch in the mids. Okay, so moving into the build, I just chopped up the vocals and through some delay.
I'll be coming up hot. I'll be coming up hot. Yeah, I'll be coming up hot.
And then using a high cut, we're gonna slowly start bringing in that build-up snare. And one of the cool things I've started doing in my build-ups recently is using 2 different snare patterns. So as you can see here, I've got one playing straight 16th notes and the other one is there to add a counter rhythm. All right, now the big thing that differentiates an artist like Julian Jordan from an artist like KNOCK2 is what they choose to place the most emphasis on in the drop. So there's really 2 popular types of bass house tracks that are trending right now, and that is melodic bass house and rhythmic bass house. As the name suggests, melodic bass house just places more of an emphasis on a melodic line. But rhythmic bass house places more of an emphasis on a rhythmic pattern, with a good example being Dash Star by KNOCK2. So in this drop, I've used a combination of both of these. So in the first half of the drop, we use a synth that carries out this really cool melody. But in the second half of the drop, we're going back to the rhythm we heard at the beginning of the track in that bass line. But this time we're going to use a much harder bass sound. And again, while this can get kind of repetitive using that same rhythm, since we have these drum fills every bar, it really helps the drop get not as boring and keeps it pretty interesting. Alright, so before we play the final result, bass house is not the only type of house music that's trending right now. Slap house is also huge, so if you want to learn how you can level up your slap house tracks, be sure to watch this video here next. But for now, here's the final result.
I'll be coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I'll be coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I'll be coming up hot. I'll be coming up hot. Yeah, I'll be coming up hot. I'll be coming up hot. Whoa, let me back up for a minute. I go so dumb. Everybody know what flow I'm on. You already know when the clip come through. Try the shit, then it's about to be a show rerun. Let me back up.